So I promise this isn't going to be what the podcast is going to be. It's just like I feel like I wanted to do an episode where I was explaining like why I was doing the podcast and like how this even began, and the only thing I could relate it to was this one quote that I heard recently. It was, if you think that trying is risky or too costly, wait till you see the bill for not trying. And it resonated with me because I've been putting this off for a long time. So I started doing stand-up comedy around like 3 years ago, and it was during the pandemic. Our friend Thomas Gerson, he like organized a bunch of these street shows on campus at IU, and my cousin Soha was doing it. I was like hesitant at first, but I knew that if I did do it, I would fucking immediately fall in love, and that's exactly what happened. And it got to a point where I was doing these shows, these street shows, and like, I would write material, I'd go up, I'd try it, I'd do okay most nights. It got to a point where I was like, I want to try an actual comedy club. No disrespect to the street shows, those are great, but I want to see what I would do in an actual comedy club. So I signed up for an open mic night at the Comedy Attic. And the Comedy Attic is like, if you're trying to start in comedy, this is where you want to go. This is where you want to start. So I signed up for an open mic. I do it, and it was okay. And I go back to the street shows on campus, and I realize I do better when I'm just riffing, nothing planned. I just feel it as it comes. And on one specific night, I said something about eating pussy with your eyes closed. Okay, and when I mentioned that, right, I realized something when I looked out into the crowd at the street show. Because at the street show, you're trying to build your own crowd. You know what I mean? And when I said that joke about eating someone's pussy with your eyes closed, it did something. It caught people's attention. And right when I realized that, I knew I had something special. Maybe a week after I did that, the Comedy Attic sent out an email about a comedy tournament, and that I was invited to do it. And I immediately signed up. Normally when you go on stage, you don't feel the pressure until you're right like 2 steps away, right? But for some reason on this day, I felt like the pressure started before I even walked into the Comedy Attic. I got there early. Like, it was just waitresses and the staff just getting stuff ready. But then I saw how many more people were coming in. Then it got to the point where it was so loud in there, all you could hear were just people talking. You couldn't even hear yourself think. And at this point, I felt like I just bombed already. Before I even went up on stage, I felt like I bombed. I wanted to leave out of the room right there. All these thoughts about, what are people going to think? What are people going to say when they watch this, right? Like, I'm going to be talking about eating pussy in front of probably like 50, 60 people, that I've never met before. I go up, I start walking up to the stage. My heart rate is just thumping, right? I look out in the crowd. I know what this set is. I didn't tell anybody about this. I look out in the crowd, and my mother and my family are in the crowd after 10 seconds of being up on that stage. I felt like I was the funniest guy on that stage. I felt like I was the funniest guy in the building, maybe in the state. It just felt like I had full control. And I go up. I had the best night of like any comedy night I could ever have. Like, I had people cheering. I had people laughing there, like slapping the table. I got off from the stage after this 5-minute set, and people were high-fiving me. I would have never experienced that feeling if I walked out when I felt like I wanted to walk out. If I bailed last minute, I never would have known what that felt like. And the funny thing is, I'm getting that same feeling about this podcast. I have this feeling of, what are people going to say? Am I wasting my time? Is this really going to work out? Are people going to find this entertaining? But on the other hand, if this does go well and it touches someone when they're listening to it, then I think I've succeeded, even if it's just one person. I feel like a lot of people who are listening to this or watching this feel the exact same way, where they're nervous about doing something, and the only thing holding them back is what they think other people are going to think. This isn't trying to be those motivational business posts you see on Instagram, I'm not trying to tell you to invest $6,000 into Bitcoin, This is a new beginning for me. And at some point you have to ask, when are you going to try that new beginning for you? regardless of what other people think. And this is episode 0 of the Below Average Podcast. Is that good?